Take a breath. And we had an amazing week last week. Okay, here we go. We're going to, oh, it asks you if you're grateful, joyful. Yeah, that's right. It doesn't say if you're grateful in Facebook Live. Welcome, Facebook Live. Woohoo! We've been rocking. And I think, Amani, you're going to have to put that hour on Facebook Live for us. So we've just come from, oh, there's Amani on her land. How perfect is that? So we've just come from the Soulfire Circle into this Zoom loving room where we are about to dive deep into radical earth heart resonance. Radical earth heart resonance. And what does that feel like for you? What would that mean to be in that place of that vibrational frequency that's alive and in its joy, and really feeling the sense of being grounded and in love with life, in love with the radical diversity. So that's what we're here to do. We're coming together, myself and Charlie Riverman and Tyson Bannigan as Sacred Evolutionary Dowsers, and Judy Gabriel, who has been joining us from California, Ojai, Mani from her land in Swannanoa. We've been working on her land. And Jerry Littleton, who's in Williams, Oregon, amazing flute player and ceremonialist and firekeeper. Karen, who's in Costa Rica, who brought in last week Peter Shampoo. So that was really amazing. And Cheryl Listic in Alaska, and Claudia, who's in Toronto. So right now you can see that this scope of energy is expanding. And for those of you that are new, possibly joining us, invite you to be sharers, not just watchers, and also come into this room. But you can always join us in the connection field and get the direct link right now with connectionfielddigest.org. So I'm Shelley Darling. I'm here in the Columbia Slough Watershed, Portland, Oregon, co-founder of Good of the Whole, and part of the initiative with the mentoring stewards of Good of the Whole that have been the inspiration for the connection field. And we're here creating this amazing safe space, inclusive space, where we can dance and sing and really come home to our hearts, come home to that home frequency. So I'm talking a lot, but it just feels really good to be out in nature here tonight. So we're going to dive in tonight. We've been working on Amani's land, and we have, I've been talking to Karen about working on some sacred site project. And so we invite that here. It's this place where we can come as planetary healers, alchemists, dowsers, and weave our wisdom for the greater good of the whole in service together. So with that, we always open up with a resonance, a heart resonance attunement. And I don't have to be the one to always do it. So I don't know. Charlie, how are you feeling about that tonight? You want to dive in, or you want to be receiver?
I can do that.
I thought so. Okay. All right.
I love to do it. I love to do it. So it's always sort of the fun part for me. Yeah. So as we gather here as a whole unified field, like everybody to just relax into whatever atmosphere you are in right now, knowing that what's going on around you is really not what is really happening. It appears to happen. We feel it happening. But what is really and truly happening is we are connecting with Mother Earth. We're connecting with the stars. We're connecting with all that exists, whether we understand that or not. And it's in that space where the radical earth heart resonance becomes a voice. It becomes a guide. It becomes a deepening of us on a molecular level to the energies, where we walk with the energies, dance with the energies, embrace the energies. And in that process of honoring the energies of Mother Earth, we truly are the stewards. At her command. And she is calling all of us now to join with her in embracing a new world. A new world in which the imbalances are corrected, where that which has been a struggle is eased, where we return to the original blueprint, correcting it as we return, knowing that from that blueprint, our evolution will proceed. Each one of you who are gathered here tonight have been called here, even if it's just out of curiosity. But you are called here because you are part of a much larger group of beings who are now hard at work and play, gathering with the devas of the land, the elementals, our star ancestors, all of the amazing species of life that walk, swim, fly, and some do all of that, knowing that we are one family embracing each other in unity, embracing each other as the molecules of water, which no matter how much we try to separate them, they come back into wholeness. So tonight, as we join hearts, minds, hands, and sharings from our guides and teachers, let us know that this circle of 12 around 1 is now open with the blessings of peace, light, and love. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. We are unity. Aho matakoi wasin.
Beautiful way to open, Charlie. Thank you so much. Tice, you want to bring in your Divine Mother blessings into this field?
It's hard to follow that beautiful opening, as usual. But I can see a few humble words come flowing through me. Thank you for showing up this evening as we gather here on the precipice of radical change and transformation, both individually and collectively on planet Earth, as we birth the new era, the new way of being collectively and individually. And I think for this opportunity to learn the power of the group of 12 around one, where one is gathered, all are gathered. When one is healed, all are healed. When one is saved, all are saved. So we get to learn this brand new technology that the ancient ones always knew, and that is the technology of working as one being, one mind, one collective soul in unity consciousness with the Divine Mother above and Mother Earth below. And that sacred divine energy, when it flows through us, inspires us, it imbues us with spirit and spiritu. It gives us the breath of life. It gives us the prana. It gives us the mana. It gives us the bread of life. And I think the opportunity to work on this one piece of land, call it maybe a belly button on the earth, or maybe a belly button for North America, but a place of transformation where we've learned that by tuning in as one collective whole in one particular nexus that needs healing on the land, that we receive deep healing of ourselves, both individually and collectively. And as that knot is released, that energy that's been bound through pain and suffering and misuse of divine energy and abuse of Mother Earth, when we release that energy by freeing it up through forgiveness and gratitude, and it flows through the energy lines of Mother Earth, it simultaneously flows through our own meridians, and we light up just like Mother Earth. So I'm truly grateful for this opportunity to meet together and to help be the doula of the birthing of a new earth, a new way of being, a new co-creative way of stepping forward and remembering who we are, that our ancestors are waiting for us to reawaken, and so are all the kingdoms, the angels and the elementals have been waiting for this day when we can truly join them as eco-spiritual stewards and fully take on the responsibility of creating new neural pathways for planet Earth. And for that, I'm truly grateful, and thank you for this opportunity. And I am somewhat complete.
Still unfurling, as we say. Wow. So welcome everyone who's on Facebook. You can feel the energy here, and we're just having fun. And I think it'd be really great to just allow those who are in the Zoom loving room and those that are on Facebook, even if you put in where you're standing, your land or your river, that it really brings this force more power, it amplifies it more powerfully. You know, as Tyson was saying, you know, that as being doulas, and even being, yeah, we're being doulas and we're being midwives, and we are the field ourselves. And I think that's part of the realization, is that we're, you know, we are the field. And so in listening and being at that, we were talking earlier today about being at that evolutionary edge of consciousness and being conscious of that who we be and what we're doing. And it calls for this really this golden thread to be woven, and just feel into that attractor field of the gold, that golden frequency, because that's really that state of abundance, that state of thriving, that state of flourishing is what we're bringing forth as evolutionary dowsers and alchemists and planetary healers. And we're listening for and sharing what is coming through us. So with that, I'm really feeling tonight to just jump right in and just let each person share here, and I'll just scan Facebook. And you know, Where are you standing, and what's your voice into the field? Bring that resonance. Bring us deeper into resonance here tonight. So less about a story of your land or a story, but bring that frequency, because we're talking about frequency, sound, and vibration here, and becoming more aware of how that moves, how we are intricately connected to this web of love, as Imani always says, web of love, web of light. And yeah, just feeling that, and all of a sudden the trees are, the wind is moving. And today, just so that you know, is the day of the dog. It's like your loyalty. Where are you putting your loyalty? And tonight we're just bringing it all in for the mother and for this greater consciousness on the planet. So with that, I'm going to continue my unfurling and pass this beautiful virtual talking stick over and just jump in, and I'm going to scan. And please, you matter on Facebook Live, you matter on social media, so just come in and bring your voice in. And of course we invite you in here. It's way more fun in here, but whatever you want. Blessings. Dangling the carrot. So I'm complete. Thank you so much. Aho Takwe Asen Matios.
Oh, can you hear me? All right. I was trying the earphones, but I couldn't figure out how to use my microphone. So, well, I wasn't around last week because I was on a journey up beyond the Arctic Circle, and the frequency up there was at Adigan Pass was that the river flows two ways. The top of the pass, it flows to the Arctic north, and then on the other side, the southern part of the pass, the water flows to the south. So that to me was very significant, that it was a demarcation line. And also the umbilicus that Tyson was speaking of, I had this vision of, well, the pipeline, of course, which was animated to me there, that runs 800 miles from the top of the earth to Valdez Harbor. It's the Mother Earth's blood, and it's like an umbilical cord from the top of the earth. If that was the belly button, the top of the earth is the belly button, and the blood is being, you know, going out to the children, you know. And I just had this connection to the land, how we're like being fed by her energy, and it's time for the umbilical cord to be cut and for humans to perpetuate their own energy, to self-perpetuate just as the earth does. And of course the ley lines connect all the way to Imani's land from where I was in the Arctic. So yeah, bringing in the Adigan Pass watersheds that flow to the top of the world, and then out to the Bering Sea, I believe, or it could even flow to the east. I would have to look. Yeah, and I know that the ley lines came up, so I truly believe I was walking the ley lines. And then the Arctic Circle has something to do with it. The halo, the energy, and then the shift of the poles. You know, we had the shift of the poles, and how the poles are no longer where they were originally were. So, yeah. Buzzing. The land of no trees was incredible. It was a very uneasy feeling to be in the tundra and no trees around and just rugged mountains and lakes, and no one should really be living up there. Okay, thank you.
Well, I guess I could go. This is Judy Gabriel, and I am in Ventura, California. So my waterway is the Pacific Ocean. And I wasn't in the in our session last week because I was doing a journey and doing a Lakota tradition ceremony called Sundance. And I was unable to travel to the reservation. So I actually did an individual Sundance here in my backyard, which ended up being really an amazing experience. I did everything I could to duplicate everything that I would have done in South Dakota. And I really felt like I tapped in with, just kept connecting with everyone on the res and what they were doing. But frequency wise, and to bring you into it a little bit, what came in so significantly and so strongly were the elements and the directions. And I danced facing the different directions 4 days straight. So got very intimate with them, received a lot of beautiful gifts. And when I think it was Charlie, well, both Charlie and Tyson earlier talking about our interconnectivity and how the elements play such a role in that, you know, just I was thinking about that the electricity in our air, of course, connects us, the fire elements. We breathe the water in every breath and breathe it out. We share that. Obviously, we're on the earth. The wind, which I believe really is like another element, which is that movement. It moves the water, it moves the fire, and then the ethers, that consciousness, that love, wisdom in between all the space, between the space. We're just so connected. So it doesn't, time and distance and space are really irrelevant. And it was so present for me that I felt I could hear the music of the reservation. I could smell the different sage, the dust, it was like I was there, and it was through the elements. It wasn't just my memory. I asked to be taken there. And I believe that's where our magic exists, that we realize that we are those particles of light, and we can travel through those particles of light and through those waterways and etheric lines. So I'm sitting in the circle I danced in, and I just invite you into this sacred place. And I welcome the connection with your hearts today. Feels really good. So with that, I'm complete. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. I'm brand new here and deeply moved by the synchronicities. So just an hour and a half ago, when Imani was starting the fire circle for the soul fire, I was inspired to sing a Lakota song. And I was remembering my summer on the reservation in a teepee. when Dancing Crow was completing the 3rd year of his commitment at the Sundance. And so I was singing one of the songs that I learned. It is in sacred circles like this, where I've learned to connect with the deepest parts of my sacred self. And it's with the love of the elders of many tribes welcoming me as one, that my connections to other bird tribes and messengers became clear. One morning, a few summers ago, with the cry of the hawk, I opened my heart to the sacred sound and said, "Good morning, messenger, what's your message?" And I was instructed that the message I was about to hear, I was to repeat line by line. And it was this I share with my heart. I am Messenger Littlefeather. I bring great news today. Music and matter are bound in one. I bind the earth. I heal the earth through my song. My people are made strong, strong and connected again to earth and sky and sea. My people will be free. My people are set free. I am Messenger Littlefeather. I bring great news today. Thank you for welcoming me to your circle tonight. Aho mitakuye, all my relations.
Karen, Jerry, Money, anyone on Facebook? Type it in.
Right now the fire looks like a peace sign. The outer 2 logs are creating the 2 outer legs of the peace sign, and there's a central log that's creating I don't know if you can really see it, but it's real clear to me. And today I saw I was planting some daylilies that I did some work down on my house site property where the fire was, and I was cleaning out the way the water moves through the trenches, and they silt up, and it's pretty much every 3 or 4 months they have to be cleaned out. So I moved a lot of rocks and moved a lot of probably soil from somewhere close to where I sit right now makes it all the way down to that place down there at the bottom. And so as I was cleaning that out, I had daylilies that needed to be moved, and so I brought them up here and put them in the ground today. And when I was digging in the ground, I had a little snake come, and I thought it was a ringneck snake, which they're lovely. It was not a ringneck snake. I'm not quite sure which one it was, but it definitely, I learned something new in this snake was like digging in the ground. It was going underground, and so while I was putting the shovel in, it, came out of the earth. That felt really, really significant. We had an earthquake in North Carolina a couple of days ago. I did feel it. I do recall, Cheryl, when you were up top, where, the talk of the ley lines and the earthquakes, and I remember, part of my prayer when I learn things like that and people are in places is that may we, help to dissipate, like move energy in a way that is as gentle as possible, as easy as possible for the planet, the people, and the shift that needs to happen so that humans can keep up, and so I noticed that, and I feel complete in the moment, and I am definitely unfolding.
I definitely knew that there was the gentle storm happening. The obsidian knife of 3 blades so that it gently cuts, because I was asking for change up there. Radical change, but in a way that, just as you said, dissipated. It ran across everything, so the impact wasn't an impact, it was a shift. Thank you, Monty.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is Karen in Costa Rica at the Arenal watershed. I'm getting some message here on the screen, so it makes no sense. Telling me the host wants me to mute myself. I'm unmuted. It's blocking me to be able to see things. So everyone's had all these things to talk about. I don't have. I guess this past week, I've had a great deal of stuff coming through on how important the work to do the clearing and the healing of the planet is, and these areas and these ley lines and things. And I'm really sorry Peter's not here. He wasn't sure if he was going to make it or not today. He wanted to, but he wasn't sure if he was going to make it. Wherever he lives, I'll have to ask him more about that. He apparently has to do some work, and they have him. They're moving a 100-foot, dismantling and moving a 100-foot greenhouse right now in 100-degree temperatures in Arizona. And he says by the time he finishes that, he's like mad English hound or something like that. I don't know, but I know he said he was hoping he'd make it tonight, so maybe he'll still make it just late. I don't know. But we had talked about some of the areas, and I've been learning some more things from him and working on things. So I think I would love to see us have some, this group, maybe another group, more than one time to really be able to focus some healing energy on some of those using the knowledge and information that Peter can bring. And again, I'm sorry he's not here. I did the earthquake seemed to be significant in North Carolina, so I looked up where Sparta was, and I did the mapping out of to where you are, Amani, to where I've been being led somewhat in North Carolina, and to where a friend is one of the people working with me on Equusnight Foundation will be doing a project in Virginia, just over the border. So it was very interesting, but we'll see what it all means. And I'm going to go get the cat who's doing what she's not supposed to be doing. Thank you all. Get down. Get down. Now.
It's not the day of the cat, it's the day of the dog. Obviously. Oh. I just want to check in with Jerry. Are you listening, or do you want to jump in here? Weaving your land in with, you know, we're lighting up the grid as we're doing this, if you haven't noticed. And all those people that have been in here as well over the past month and a half. So it seems like Jerry might be just listening. All right. So just for people who know, Jerry lives in Williams, Oregon, and is been cited for a manifestation station with Jose Acumuño. And what I love about these manifestation stations that are huge, I think they're like 30-foot poles that make this up, is that the top is woven with copper, which is very meaningful in the work that we do. Copper as being a transmitter also clears the negative frequencies from the land, and is an elemental that supports this powerful restoring resonance on the planet. So I just wanted to drop that in, and we can talk more about that. So and Amani, I just want to bring in my experience from, I believe it was yesterday, and Mama Lynn's coming in with us. So welcome, Mama Lynn. Be right with you. So sorry about the building. We're building in the back here. So what I want to share is something that struck me, because we're not going to get into a whole story tonight. You can go watch some of the previous videos. We'll make sure they're on Facebook Live. Some of them are and some of them aren't. But we've been working on with Amani's land. It was called to us, and Charlie's been gritting some of the people that have been on this land, some of the sites that we've been working with. But this land that originated with, you know, Amani was talking about a fire, and called and asked if we would focus on this piece of land. And this land has, the evolution of this land's voice is tremendous, as you'll probably hear tonight. What was amazing to me, without any specific perceptions, was that two mornings ago at the fire, the Mayan fire ceremony, which is now called the People's Fire Ceremony. So that's inclusive of the traditional Mayan ceremony and more, sort of bringing in this evolutionary piece. that she was on that land, and she was called down because 2 skulls were coming to her. And but for myself, as being a conduit of bringing this group together and us focusing on this land, which was very, very shut down when we first started talking. And the fact that she went back to that land 2 days ago and was at the fire, the piece of land where the fire actually was, where her house burned, was very significant to me. And we'll hear from Charlie and Tyson when they hear this story, because they weren't at the fire. And she said, and Imani, you can clarify when I'm done if I've told this wrong, but it seems like it feels really important to me, so I'm going to bring this in. So she received those 2 skulls, and what she said was she put the skulls on the ground and they didn't want to be there. And that she was thinking of selling this acre of land. And but what was really interesting to me was I got that those skulls came to support her, to give her strength, and at least at that point weren't ready nor willing in some way to be on that particular land. Now they might be tonight up at the fire, and she can tell us. But the fact that after we've worked on this land for at least a month and a half, that she would end up on the I'm going to say goodnight to my granddaughter. I'm going to pass this over to Tyson and Charlie and Imani. But basically it was very, very powerful. And it said something to me. And also the other piece I want to drop in is I really do believe tonight it's about working on some of those, taking a look at those ley lines and what's going on there. It's been brought up more than once. Also, Karen's bringing in this project of working with sacred sites and ley lines with Peter Shampoo. And I feel like there's something, this is what we do here. We listen to the field. We listen to what's inviting us to pay attention. And also from that, there's a receiving of the reciprocity of the love of the land to us in ways that you can't imagine. If you've ever been a dowser or planetary healer, this is one of the things that, at least I've been really very aware of, is the sparkling light that comes back from the land. Yes, working with the elementals and the devas, and we work with all of them, the masters and teachers and the Akashic record keepers and all of it. And I just wanted to bring that in, that there's something spectacular moving here. The fact that it was woven back to the land that called us in the first place, to the fire. And now we're here tonight. So with that, Imani, if you want to say anything to that, because I might have just, hopefully I didn't distort that story, but it was very meaningful to me. And then I'm opening it up to Tyson and Charlie, and then anybody else that is having a strong feeling here tonight. So with that, I'm going to go say good night to my granddaughter. And we are doing it. Thank you, Charlistic, for bringing in the children. This is why we do it. This is the mother's intention, and we're doing it for the generations to come that are here now and to come, that they can live in peace and love and harmony. And then Mama Lynn, once we get this thread going, you're welcome to introduce yourself and tell us where you are and what's moving in your field.
Thank you, Shelley. The only sort of clarifying information feels that selling the 109 property was not really ever on my radar until like within the last 48 hours. And I felt like when these are 2 hematite singing skulls, and I laid a landscape down, and I definitely was doing some work around, whatever needed to move out and whatever wanted to move in to have that altar place in basically it was the center of my house on the earth. And like I put the skulls down on the ground, and it just like something felt off, and I asked them if they wanted to be here, and they said no, they wanted to be up on the top at the chamber property. So I wrapped them back up and brought them to the land this morning. And the other thing that was significant was that that day was on the calendar was the day of the fire. And so it was the first time I had been with a community of people doing any kind of ceremony on that land. And for anybody who knows me, that's like crazy that it's a year and a half and this is the first ceremony that's happened there. So I was super grateful for all of that. Thank you. I feel complete.
Thank you, Amani, for that report. It's what we do in this field is listen. And when we listen to each other, we also listen to what's coming through us and share it with an open heart and no fear, because each of us are conduits of amazing information. And to hear that, I'm going to light up here. And the message is new chapter, closure coming through. I loved how you said move out, move on. I think you did. I don't know if it was you or someone else in my space here, but it's interesting that today I was called to work on the grid work. And Cheryl, I just added that pass to the grid, and I'll show it later, but that point where you were at, or probably not the exact point, but the reference to it is now part of Amani's grid system. And then there was another place that I added, which tells me that a period of reparation has completed on some level, and I'm not sure what that level is. But the fact that each of us go away for a week and come back, even if we're not really thinking of it, we have carried the information of the previous week with us. And we're all working on it unconsciously. We're working on it energetically. This is the amazing part of working with grid lines that I don't think can really be scientifically explained. It's an experiential process. And so thank you for that information, because the grid now extends from where Cherylistic is down to Lake Titicaca in South America. And it runs from Maine, Mount Agamenicus here in Maine, to Mount Shasta in the west. So this grid has grown from that just tiny little area of your two addresses and those beautiful mountains that you're in, to this big, expansive, collective grid work. And so I just wanted to share that, and I can share a picture later. So thank you, Amani, for that beautiful message. I receive it and know that the work that we're doing is being heard. The work that we're doing is making a positive effect. And thank you all for being a part of this. Even if you don't think you did anything, your presence here is the energy. That's all is needed, is just your willingness to be present. Thank you. I'm complete.
Tice, got anything to add?
Well, when I tune into it, I think of the old property and the fire as being the phoenix, the resurrection, the new beginnings. And all I can say is, if I were the Crystal Skulls, I wouldn't want to hang out there either. I want to be where the new energy is. I want to be part of the transformation and change. So, I would have said the same thing. Get me out of here.
Ah.
Yeah, and I mean, the woman that they came from is Carolyn Ford, so they're connected with Einstein, and that was her message after they arrived and after I had that experience, was that they're all they as they left her, she said that they're specifically about bringing a new frequency.
Woo!
Yeah, thank you for that confirmation, because that's exactly what I feel. Out with the old and in with the new.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really interesting as you were sharing that, Imani, and I'm remembering, you know, receiving that message when we hadn't been in touch, and we're back and forth. And the first time we really interacted is you send this message saying my house burned, and I'm like, really? And thinking about, it's really interesting. There's a certain sense where I'm like, wow, I feel better, like that you're safer not being there where your house was as things shift around. It's an interesting thought that just kind of came in, and I was like, oh. Yeah, just sharing that.
It's definitely dimensional.
Beautiful. Thank you. Let's let Mama Lynn come in here and share where you are, the land you stand on, and how you're weaving your wisdom into this space here tonight.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Tyson. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Amani. Thank you, all my friends, if I haven't mentioned your names. It's good to drop in, and I drop into this space because I see you all, and I'm finally settled back down, but my daughter's moving out after 39 years, you know. I'm in California on Mount Tamalpais, and this whole protection feeling has been really clear all day, like just keep protecting. And I got really strong voices, and both my daughters came and packed my daughter up, and it was just like they just left and we're going to have a ceremony. But you know, this idea that I slept on the land, Amani, 2 nights ago over at Dulux land, the connection with our fires in the morning, I slept literally on the ashes. And then the next morning when I got back, you were on your land where the ashes had been. And for me, it was a really powerful moment just a few minutes ago when I heard what was happening. My whole heartbeat, my heart does not beat like this. My heartbeat was so pounding as you were sharing. My heartbeat was just like pounding. And I was not feeling that until just now. So it was a really powerful transmission, whatever was happening right then. I've been around the skulls with Jose now for the first time. The last couple times we were together, and the skulls speak loud and clear. And I'm very attuned, and I'm excited at some point to have a skull. But the energy that you shared was clear, that you listened. I'm not getting anything more than, you know, a lot of movement for all of us, a lot of movement, a lot of spiritual movement within each of us. And the land is speaking. And when I was on the land up at Deluxe, all I got told over and over that the stones have been sharing for a long, long, long time. And that they hold the wisdom, that the stone people hold the wisdom of the essence of the land. And they've had the stories. And we had heard at one point that, you know, the the water's been polluted, the land's been polluted, the air's been polluted, but the fire had not been polluted. But when I got the message the other day about the stone people and the stones, so if anything, I'm just doing, it's just coming through to put some sacred stones from the other parts of the land onto that land as a closure, if it's a choice to close or not. But people, the union of the past for any of us, right? The past trauma, the past traumas that come through our bodies, the past entities that come through our bodies, the past galactic that come through our bodies, whatever that is that we align, the stones are so clearly a movement. And I've seen this my whole life. The stones have always moved vibrationally for me. And I think they clear and move a lot of energy. And I really feel that they might be helpful. And that's just coming. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm complete.
So, thank you. Thank you, everyone. In the understanding that I hold, the stones are the first ancestors. And so they are record keepers in their own right. And I just smile when I think of the stones. And for those who weren't here in the very beginning, I think it was one of the first nights that we came on this land was bear medicine, and the bear came to the stone and moved a very big stone in the center of that land, of that fire. And there was a paw print right there, like making itself bear medicine. And the fact that it, I just was getting the correlation with the stone, that it made its mark and it moved that stone. And really each one of our energies have been moving the stones of our being, that, and I was thinking about, this is interesting. I was thinking about this right as I was coming on this call and hearing so much about the elementals and when Judy was, describing each of the elementals and, the earth, and I kept thinking about dust, and I don't know why I was paying attention to the dust. And so I just bring that into this circle and fire tonight. The dust, that when things crumble, that when things dissolve, there's this element of dust, this element of the shifting of the energies. So something new can come. And so I don't know where that goes, but I think I want to just open this up and just really look at, maybe it's time, Charlie, to show the grid and listen for how we're being called tonight to, as the shift is taking place on Amani's land, and I just want to look at, I still feel like we haven't really looked at those ley lines and listened, and because they have their own song. And it feels to me that, and I remember last week, I kept feeling really called to go underneath, inside of that peace chamber at Amani's land, and is this amazing altar that goes deep into the earth. And I kept getting called to come into the land, come in and become aware of whether it's the intersection of these ley lines, or there's a broken ley line that would love to be fixed, or new energies that are wanting to be brought in there. But I'm absolutely seeing this concentric, these radials. Okay, these radials, coming out from the peace chamber, and that altar being the center. And maybe we're even being invited in to check into those radials. And maybe we're even being invited, I don't know why, being invited to check into the radials before we started working on this land and what they are now. Because that's one of the most beautiful things that I've learned from Barry Brailsford, is understanding these radials. And when there's, as an example, let's just say there's a stone circle, but if someone goes and does graffiti on one of those stones, it does affect the frequency that moves out from that stone circle. And Julie Armstrong and I played very distinctly with that in Canberra, which is the capital city in Australia, where it was really built with a consciousness of understanding ley lines and dowsing and geomancy. It was actually consciously built like that. And we went up to the stone circle, and we discovered that where there was like some people doing, I'll just call it graffiti for now, graffiti or carving into the stone, painting. They were painting horrible things on there. And we just spent a lot of time. Her husband started cleaning, and we started singing. And maybe, well, we know that happens on the land anyway, but we started singing to the stones and cleaning them up and bringing our love and light. And when we walked around that circle and were checking the radials, it was amazing, because where they had been missing, there was energy not coming out from the stone itself. All of a sudden it was all there, and the radial started to expand. So I bring that to the circle here tonight, and invite, even if those don't have any experience dowsing, to let's pay attention to that right now. Yeah.
Has there been any, I don't know what you guys did in the beginning. So I understand that a house burned, the fire, and it's on a separate piece of property than where the altar is and the peace chamber. But I feel like there's a connection. I mean, we know like where the house was, there's a heart center there. So one of those radials possibly connecting the altar with the other property, and if it needs healing, maybe there's completion, which allows it to be released, or a reconnection. But I don't know if you guys did any work before on connecting the two.
No, but I hear what you're saying, and I get a really distinct feeling, Judy, that there needs to be, I'm going to call it a heel stone, significant rock placed there at that property that then connects as a radial to the peace dome. And there may be also a setting of rocks around the peace dome, making it the center of a mini medicine wheel. But you're absolutely right. There's a real need to identify that radial connection, because it's like the belly button of the birth and the death. It's the entry point for elementals to come and to go. And we need to honor that, right? So thank you for that, Judy.
So that's kind of fascinating when I hear you speak that, and I'm like, right, so Mani, you were there, and then the water came up, right? And then you were there and the fire came up. Just what things rising that were actually, that the house being there and the things rising there, and that feeling I had earlier about safety and protection. So yeah, I feel the same way, that there's, something to be done there, something to be there. And I private messaged you the same thing, like everybody driving past there, like everybody who goes on that road drives past there, and everything that they carry inside their hearts and in their lives, like there's this opportunity to even that out for them, that something at the land can really help with settling all that, so that everything on that mountain, from the entryway all the way up that road, starts to harmonize more, and that the elements and the elementals can really help with that, is what I'm feeling.
Yeah, and I also felt this that morning when Imani was talking, it was very, very clear to me that even if that land is going to be sold, it has to be cleared. You can't just leave it the way it is, because it wants to regenerate itself, not only with, you know, whatever the grasses and the flowers and, or whatever's there, the trees, but that it's looking to regenerate itself, and also that that doesn't get passed on to anybody else. That I mean, this is the role. So I'm really feeling like Charlie and Tyson, like let's actually do something. Like we have like another 20 minutes, and
Yeah.
let's take them into a group protocol. And if you have doubt, first of all, really important when we do this is even in talking, please have water. You should be drinking a lot of water. If you don't have any water, make sure you go get water, because that's really important for the energy work of this type of work. And be drinking a lot of water. Let's go into a group protocol. Let's play. If you have dowsing rods, you can go get your dowsing rods. If you use a pendulum, use a pendulum. And let's just play here and invite you, if you haven't done anything like this, I know we're going to be doing something in the next month. It feels like that, where we're really going in and bringing forth how to do some of this. And but tonight we'll just take you in, and it feels like you know, to start at that altar, Imani. So if you just imagine that peace chamber, which we saw behind the fire, that there's an altar, and instead of like on a table up high, it's going down into the earth in a rectangle, and to bring our loving intention. I'm going to invite Tyson or Charlie or whoever wants to start to, and because it's connected to Mount Shasta, let's just start there, making that connection across, and just setting up that, you know, Imani's been talking a lot about the need for a little bit of protection, so we want that for everybody, and just know that you're just bringing your love and light. And I would just invite everyone just to play with right here, is just before we start with Charlie, and I'm gonna just give it to them because we've all done it together. But I'm gonna go get that dog. Hey, come here, and just, you know, check in. Use your dowsing rods. Ask a couple of questions. What are you noticing about that you know, the radials? How are they running? And if you don't do it tonight, you can do it by yourself. But I pass it over to one of you, Tyson or Charlie, to start and invite everyone into this sacred space, this interconnected space that we have created here as a part of this evolutionary consortium, dowsing consortium, and the work we've done. And we invite you in to bring your gifts and wisdom. So with that, I pass it over, and I'm going to, it's a dog day, and I'm going to remind her that she needs to be loyal and get over here.
Can I ask a question? Does anyone have like a visual of a map with the line on it?
Oh yeah, Charlie, maybe that's where you want to start.
Yeah, I have a map. I just zoomed in on the house that's burned, but I can zoom in and out if I move it. I'll see if I'm able to do that. Share screen. Okay. Oh, okay. I know we want that. Share. Okay, so we should be seeing something there. So are you seeing a map at this point?
Yes.
Okay, so this is
Yeah.
where the fire, occurred. And I'm just going to put it so north is at the top. And as we begin this, just want to share that as we move into this land, I want you to ground yourself where you are. Connect to the inner earth beneath your present place of being, and invite the elementals of that land and your land deva to be with you as guardians and to shield and protect you from anything that may be an unknown frequency of disturbance. So what we're going to do is just envision being gifted a shield of light that we're going to sort of be cocooned in as we work on this property. And I say this because it's a precaution that we all need to do whenever we go and work on land, whether on a map or anywhere, is we don't know what energy is there. So as we have learned in the past, it's always good to protect ourselves and to honor the presence of whatever is on that land at this time, be it positive or negative. So with that said, if everybody is ready, you can just dive in and ask questions of the land, or if you want me to zoom out, and I can. We can go anywhere you want.
So does this map have both the house that was burned and where the Peace Dome is?
I have the whole grid, yes. So I'll draw it out. So this is where the house is, and then right here, if I get it on there, that's where the Peace Chamber is. Okay, so it's connected on a northeast diagonal. These lines run off to Washington, D.C., the grid that we did in Washington, D.C., and off to Mount Agamenticus. And the ones on the left are running off to Mount Shasta. The ones in the south are heading down to South America. And I don't think you need to see that whole map now, but this is the grid work. And so as Amani has explained, the land at the Inner Peace Chamber has shifted and changed. And as she spoke tonight, really, I feel it's invited her to be even more one with that land than she has ever been. And as the Skulls expressed, they didn't want to be at the old place. The message that I'm getting is whatever is done there is complete, but we do need to bless that land before anybody else becomes interested in it, because there is something there. With that, I'm complete.
And it may be also that, we think of them as separate parcels because of county lines, but as far as Indigenous people that were there, the whole hillside or the whole area was all connected and part of an area that they traveled or roamed or had sacred ceremony. And so there may be connections or pieces that cross parcel lines that need to be healed, as well as the trauma of the fire. And just coming out of fire 2 years ago myself and working with a piece of property, it has layers. I mean, you feel like you get a layer and then you heal it, and then something happens and trauma comes up again, or something's healed. And so just keeping in mind there's layers. Layers upon layers.
I just want to thank you, Judy, for that, because that's exactly what I've experienced over and over again, that we look at parcels of land, but how the land holds itself and its message to itself is completely connected, especially if you've walked those lines and many times. But in general, we tend to look at the parcels, and sometimes just the breaking up of the parcel can cause a a break in the energy, and I feel that too is that's what part of this is all about. It's not separate. It's almost like Amani's Peace Chamber land is like the mothership to that other piece, and it's and even to there's so much grief going on. I'm feeling like there's grief there, and it's nothing bad. And it might have been a lot of geopathic stress that caused that fire, or it might have been different things. But it also is calling us for attention. So that's really a beautiful thing. And I'm feeling that really strongly, that it's just it's got to be given its freedom and its capacity to birth its new energy as well for that next person that might come along. And so anyway, just thank you for that. That's really important.
I feel like I always call it what's the energetic footprint of the property as opposed to parcel lines or whatever. It's like, and so sometimes, there obviously are the parcel lines, the county lines, but there might be a hillside that has a wholeness to it. That's an energetic footprint, for a specific energy or purpose, or cut, divided by rivers or a forest or something, the actual, and just energetic lines. So I feel like there's an energetic footprint here that has not anything to do with those parcel lines, but that is connected between the two, and almost like we're supposed to intuit or like put this splash of a line, a circle around of what the actual energetic footprint is of the whole. And then, if that's healing or whatever. Is that complete?
Charlie, would you be willing to actually pull out a little bit further? I'm actually really familiar with just trying to get at things. Just curious. That's great.
These points with numbers are mountains. That's the elevation. Because what you're in is in the mountains. And so that they wanted to be connected. So they were the highest points.
So I'm just looking out of curiosity, like where the Billy Graham Training Center is on that line.
Right. Let's see. If you come in a little bit, I can probably.
Just curious. There's a weird.
It's going to be to the west of 321. We share a mountain. Like, I'm on one side of the mountain and the Billy Graham Center's on the other. So it's really close.
So Charlie,
Yeah.
Can we stop the share for right now and actually oops, a hummingbird is just going off.
I'll just pull it all back out so everybody can get a look at the.
You see that circle there, though? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
This started with that inner grid, and this is how large this grid is now. And I just added Cheryl Listic's point of land up here. She gave me some coordinates, and it's tapped in there. So this is now feeding energy to that center. So I just wanted to show you the vastness of the amazing energy we can channel into there. Okay, I'm complete.
Just the underground thing, just again, right, the fire started in the basement. The water, like, you did all, it's like, yeah, I'm just fascinated by what you brought forth, Shelley, and what I know happened there, and seeing that, and having been to the Peace Chamber, I'm really feeling, right, that altar comes all the way down through I was thinking about going up the hill, but I've never really thought about the stupu and then the home site actually being connected at that level of underground.
They're definitely connected underground. I mean, that was done on purpose. I always called it upstairs, downstairs. The chamber being upstairs, the house being downstairs. And like that was on purpose because It's the way I would stay connected with when I needed to be on the property and when I needed to be at the house.
Uh-huh.
There's also the
So,
below
can I-
ground that has to do with the fire.
Okay, okay. Listen, everyone, just take a breath here, because this is. I mean, if we just want to really invite everyone to take a breath and kind of pull back a little bit at this point, only because we have 5 minutes left here, and in honoring the movement, honoring the time and where we want to go, and it is completely exciting and beautiful, and and this is what happens when we come together. And shoot, sorry. Ooh, that was weird. Monty, I'm just going to put you on mute for a second. Okay, great. So I just want to invite a really big pause. It's really important. The land has our attention, and these two pieces are now being united through our attention, through our intention. And I really want to invite some breath here. To be in that liminal space, and we didn't have a chance to, I mean, this is perfect, and this is what happens in the Dowsing Consortium. We go really deep and we work on these pieces, and here, in just honoring the time, the question is what, we didn't really go fully into that protocol, which is fine, and just to take where you are and just kind of soft focus right now. We went in really close, and now we're just inviting you to soft focus. And let's collectively hold this place, knowing full well that the elementals are working with us, and there's going to be more movement. I can feel it in my back. It's like the land is really getting the support that it needs, and Amani's getting the support she needs, and we're growing together. We just want to come to a collective space of gratitude, and to really hold and ask those elementals to continue working with us, which they are anyway, but always asking and inviting them to hold the space to continue working on the land while we're not together physically and virtually, and that we can even set a time, where we can just know that you can come together. And with the consortium, we're inviting you radically in this focus of Earth Heart Resonance, we're inviting you to really get you're not working alone. That this is the beauty of what we're doing, that if you feel called to, maybe, Charlie, we can place the map in the Good of the Whole Facebook page so people can have that and look at that. I don't know how you feel about that, but and maybe we don't even need it. You're holding it in your own body, which is the mother's body. But that as you are called to bring your love and light to this amazing land that's so interconnected with all of our hearts and the greater whole on the planet, that just even simply bringing your love and light is enough, number one. Number two, if you love planetary healing and love dowsing or, alchemy, to set the field for yourself if you're intending on supporting this beautiful project. Obviously, we're not done yet. And then we'll come back next week and bring back your information, bring back what came to you, bring back what's moving in you and the new. And as we, really bring this collective dream, this dreaming of this land that brought us together. So with that, I, ask for forgiveness for cutting off that energy, but I'm holding it within the connection field. And you can save the chat by pushing on those 3 buttons in the chat to save the information that people are putting in. And Charlie and Tice, just want to check in with you in terms of how we want to, you know, we definitely are going to close a circle in a beautiful way, but also I just feel, I know I just want to invite you guys to share, and as keepers of this field, and see where we want to go with this, and where, just trying to think of where we might want to, you know, if people want to really continue during the week, where we can, where that information can be held and met. So we invite you, if you love doing this and you want to be part of this, then put your emails in the chat. That would be really beautiful. Bridget, thank you for being with us. Amazing. And yeah, Charlie, Tyson, why don't you, or Tyson, why don't you jump in and
Well, thank you everybody for showing up for the next go around that we had on this land. And I guess the finishing remark for me is I see 2 belly buttons. The old land where the fire was is a belly button, and I love belly buttons in that it's the umbilical cord between one dimension and another. Of course, you cut the cord and then you have a new birth and a new state of being. And I really feel that the altar in the dome is another belly button. It's another birthing and another transmutation. So I think the 2 need to be honored, and they're connected. And we look at radial lines. There's definitely one radial line from the old belly button to the new belly button. And of course, it's all connected to our own belly buttons, right? Each one of us. So we have a collective belly button experience here tonight. And for that, I'm truly grateful. And you may giggle, but those energy lines from the belly button are interconnecting into us, just like our heart. You know, it's a radical earth heart resonance, but who doesn't say we aren't connected belly button to belly button? It's sort of the belly to belly. We've done it already. There's a song like that goes that way. So that's it. Belly button to belly button. Thank you everybody for showing up.
thank you, Tyson. And I want to let people know, people who are asking for the dowsing booklet, the Earth Medicine Alchemy and Golden Light Dowsing booklet. I have sent it out, so it'll either come from Golden Light Dowsing or I resent it out from Shelley at Good of the Whole. So make sure you go find it. It might be in your spam. If you didn't receive it, you would have received it, I don't know, yesterday or the day before. So look there. And if you didn't, you can put your name in the chat. We'll give a few minutes because I don't even see Daryl Bob here. And yeah, so more. And also I want to honor Karen next week to give her some time to share in Peter Shampoo's project. And she was asking about bringing some sacred site work, which we're doing right now anyway, but more on that, you know, next week, because I wanted to give her just a little bit of space to share something that was moving in her. And with Peter Shampoo, maybe it'll be perfect. Maybe he'll show up next weekend. So I just want to, are there any questions or any, you know, urgent pieces that, you know, want to give you like 30 seconds if there's something really moving, because I know it was definitely challenging to kind of come all, everybody's faces were on the screen like this, you could see them all, and you know, just want to just honor that. If there's anything, questions.
I'd like to pose a is the land really old? You seem to be thinking about just this realm, and everyone's going underneath, and I believe it's really old. It's connected to Atlantis in the beginning of time. So I said that in the first week, just posing that question.
Great. Thank you. We don't need to answer these questions right now.
I would agree.
Of course, the man would come in with the answer.
I wanted to also just introduce the thought that we talked about the altar being underground, but many of the roots of those trees, when a fire happens, a lot of the mycelia, as we know, the whole mushroom, all that is how the trees and plants connect and talk to each other. And when a fire happens and some of the places are deeply burned, we went through this with our other property, and it takes longer, and their communication system is kind of broken. So just the whole underground part that is affected by flood and fire. So just bringing that in.
Thank you. Yes, we talked about that on one of the calls for sure. Oh, anything else? Vitally important. But you'll be musing with us, and honestly, we invite you, if you haven't come, to the fire on tomorrow morning, where Imani and Jerry and myself and mostly Charlie and Mama Lynn and Karen and Claudia, we all show up. It's now called the People's Fire, but sometimes, and a lot of times, Imani's on that land. So the land has been singing every single morning and bringing its voice to the fire, so you can bring yours. And Charlie can close us out. And I want to thank everyone on Facebook Live. We'll be back here for this particular amazing portal of presence here in the connection field. And if you really want to discover more and feel like you're coming home and feel that deeper intimacy with others, then you just go to connectionfielddigest.org. And you can just sign in and get the link, and it's all day long inside of there. Many offerings, as well as, you can go to goodofthewhole.org or goodofthewhole.com. If some people are having trouble getting there, and go to the connection field and you'll learn more. But this is who we be. We open up this inclusive, fun space. We love you very much. Thank you for joining us. And Charlie, going to invite you for a beautiful closing as you opened this evening, and we love you, and hugs to all.
So as we began the journey of deepening into Mother Earth and asking the elementals to encase us in a light of protection, we now thank everyone who showed up for that event on our behalf, to keep us safe as we journeyed into parts of the unknown to the human third dimensional mind, but not unknown to the higher self and multidimensional beings that we are. And in that connection, we ask that we be able to call on them again whenever needed, and know that we love you and we bless you as they love and bless us. And as we close this call tonight, I want you all to take away what you felt tonight, what you experienced tonight, and know that as the excitement built, it's the energy that we were tapping into. And part of the role of the 12 around one is to take that breath and space that silence and know that we are truly connected to all that is. I'm complete. I thank you. I bless you. Have a great week, and keep Imani's land in focus while you go through your week. Bless you. Thank you.
Create a little altar for yourself. Stay connected to it. It's amazing. Blessings. Love you all. See you at the fire. Thank you.
Shelley, do you want me to send you that picture? Can you post it somewhere for people to get, or?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I'll just send it to you. Yeah.
Okay. Much love.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you very
Blessings.
much.
Good to be with you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know what happened to Daryl Bob. I
Thank
don't
you
know.
all.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
Diane.
Bye.
I asked for deep prayers because my 3 daughters and I will have a meal together as my last child leaves my home.
Oh,
And I just want to tell you all that I need your prayers. Thank you.
you got them. We
You
love
got
you.
Yes, indeed. Bless you.
Bless you.
You're free. Claire, I sent you an email.
I know. Like, Enjoy it.
It'll be Saturday when she leaves, but it's our last gathering, so it'll be powerful. Thank you.
Mucho
I'm
love.
wearing my medicine boots, and I'm going to accept the mother and the medicine. Blessings.
Okay. Blessings to all. Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.